Hey guys, welcome to this month's Luxury Beauty Lowdown, where I talk about my favorites from the past month, where I talk about just sort of random thoughts that I've had on all the makeup that I've tried in the past month, and also some fails that I've come across. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to start off with favorites, and I'm going to talk about what I have on as primer today. It's the Clé de Peau Intensive Fortifying Emulsion. Now, I was turned on to this by Jen over on All Feisty over here on YouTube. She is awesome. She's amazing. Definitely head on over there, subscribe, watch her videos. She's so great. Fortifying emulsion is, it's a skincare product. It's something that you can put on after you've cleansed your face, as a serum or before your serum, but it is a really wonderful boost of hydration. And I saw Jen use it as a primer and I thought, that looks great. I mean, she has wonderful skin, but it really gave her a lot of luminosity, and she talked about how moisturizing it was. So anyway, I couldn't help myself. I ended up purchasing this and I love it. Not only is it wonderful for my dry skin, it is really, really glowy. It has this wonderful, freshly applied skincare look to it, but it is very, very smoothing, which is what I think lends itself to being a primer. It really is a wonderful first step, especially if maybe there's some time between doing skincare and applying makeup. I feel like if I apply makeup right after I've done my skincare, my skin's nice and juicy, it's ready for makeup. It's not that important that I add a little bit of a primer or some sort of moisturizer down to kind of get my skin, plump again before I add some makeup. And so I definitely like this and definitely recommend using some sort of primer if you have drier skin and there's been some time between putting your skincare on and your makeup. Anyway, I've been loving this. It is absolutely incredible and such a great primer for makeup. Hands down, the best foundation that I have used over the past few weeks is the Guerlain Terracotta Le Teint Glow. And I have shade 1.5N. It looks fairly deep and warm in the bottle. I remember unboxing this and was a little bit worried, but I think it's actually okay. I do think it runs a little bit deep, a little bit warm, maybe because it's part of the terracotta line. But if I were to purchase another bottle of this, I'd probably go down another shade, if they even have one that's lighter. But this is what I have on my skin today. You guys, it is so smoothing, so natural. Just the coverage is incredible. It is not too much. It's just perfect to kind of even out my skin tone. The finish is absolutely gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is basically like your skin, but like your skin after you've just put some skincare on. So it just has this really beautiful glow to it, but it doesn't look greasy. It doesn't necessarily look sweaty or anything like that. Just very, very luminous. And I was so excited to try this out and it did not let me down. I'm a little disappointed that this is not at Sephora and I could not recommend this during the Sephora VIB sale. Is that still going on? That may still be going on. I think it ends tomorrow. Anyway, I was upset that I could not recommend this to you guys for the sale. But this is just an incredible foundation and I think it would work for any skin type if you want a little bit of extra glow. I have plenty of friends with very oily skin and that is it's like the last thing they want. But if you do want a little bit of glow, I do think this would work for many skin types. And the reason why I say that is because this was very long lasting. It did not look any different or break up or do anything weird on my skin all throughout the day. And I've worn it with powder, without powder, with other makeup products on, other cream products, and it didn't break down at all. It's just really incredible. So that is the Guerlain Terracotta Le Teint Glow. Gorgeous. All right, let's talk about powders. Now, if you're interested in my thoughts on talc-free loose powders, I put up a video last Thursday kind of running down everything, and that was a beast of a video to make, but I was glad that I did because a lot of my favorite loose powders contain talc, and I know many of you don't like to use talc. So anyway, if you are interested in that, definitely check that out. But I have two talc-free powders to mention here, and they're both pressed, and they are so incredible. So the Givenchy, the new Prism Lee pressed powder, is talc-free, and I have it in shade Vol Rosé. So there are 6 shades in total. This one is number 3. It's kind of right in the middle. It looks very, very pale, but there are 2 shades that are a little bit lighter. One is all pinks and peaches, and then one has the really cool tones, the blue, purple, green squares, and then there's 1, 2, 3 deeper ones. So this powder you guys, I think Givenchy has now made it up to us. When they reformulated the Prism Leap loose powder, boy, and I talk about this in my loose powder video. Their previous version, oh my goodness, it just left your skin just creamy and soft and blurred, set your makeup down, it brought the shine down, but it didn't make your face look dry at all. It was incredible. This is what the pressed powder does. It is just like the loose powder. It is so good. It leaves your skin so soft looking, so creamy. I actually have it on this half of my face. I use the other powder on this half. So I have this on this half of my face, and it's, oh, I'm just so happy that Givenchy came out with this. Now, if they could just translate this into their loose powder, I'd be really, really happy. But to have it in pressed powder, which is a much more practical form, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So thank you, Givenchy, and I love, love, love this pressed powder. The other pressed powder that I tried this past month, which is incredible, it is also talc-free, is from Kogan Do. It is called The Powder, and it has no fragrance, no synthetic dyes, no mineral oil, no parabens, no alcohol, and it actually has 6 different types of hyaluronic acid in there. So it comes in this jar. It almost looks like it is loose powder, which I thought it was when I first received it, but it's pressed. It is in a pan there. It does come with a little puff. I use a brush, and I applied this powder over on this side of my face. This powder, when I first apply it, looks a little bit more matte than I like, but I think because of all of the skincare that's actually in this powder, it settles down very, very quickly, and it looks flawless. It looks incredible. It's really, really blurring. It is really, really softening, which is so interesting for a powder. And I really, really encourage you to like read up on this powder, either on the Kogan Do site or on Neiman Marcus. I think they carry it, but it is just such an interesting powder because of all the skincare that's in there. And like I mentioned, it has all of these different hyaluronic acids in there, which is so wonderful for powder to avoid looking too dry. So anyway, that is the Kogan Do, the powder, and it is wonderful. Now the bronze that I have just recently fallen in love with. Now this was a very late contender for this particular video because I just received this. I ordered this off of the Dior site. This is their limited edition Dior Forever Nude Bronze Glow, and I got it in pink bronze. And you probably saw my video that I put up last Wednesday where I tried all these products out. So this product comes with gold overspray. So I wasn't sure whether or not the bronze itself had any bit of sheen to it, any bit of glow to it. By the sound of what they called it, Nude Bronze Glow, I kind of assumed that it did, but it was an assumption. Anyway, when I got it and I got through the gold overspray, there is just a beautiful kind of sheen to the powder, so up here and down here. And then in this middle area, there's actually some gold shimmer in there, which I don't think, necessarily translates onto the skin. I think you get a very smooth, creamy powder. I got the pinky bronze because I do like a cooler toned bronze, even though this is a little bit deeper than the coral. Yeah, the coral bronze is a little bit warmer from what I can tell online, a little bit warmer, a little bit lighter. This one is a little bit more neutral and a little bit deeper. Anyway, I have this brushed all over my face. It is gorgeous. It is really, really stunning. It looks so smooth on the skin. It blends out really, really beautifully. And I love the tone of it. And I really, really like that it has that very soft sheen, just so it gives you an extra bit of glow in your bronze. It's a really, really beautiful bronze. And these pink stripes, by the way, are like part of the pan. It's not overspray. So you will get a little bit of the pinky coolness versus the coral bronze where they have like the peach stripes. All right, let's start talking about blushes. I tried so many blushes. I mean, I think almost every company came out with a new blush this past month. What I have on, and some of my favorites, are the Westman Atelier powder blush duos. So I have Coquette and Mimi on, and Mimi is this deeper shade here. Now next to Coquette, it definitely looks like a bronzer, but I applied it right over the bronze, and you can see that there's a little bit more of a peachy reddish tone to it. So I can definitely see why they call this a blush duo. At first I I don't know, I was really kind of skeptical. I was like, isn't this like one of the sculpting duos? But no, this is actually one of the blush duos. By itself, this is a really beautiful, kind of like cool toned clay color. And then I use the Coquette color. I use that just on the apples of my cheeks, and basically just to highlight the blush area. But I did lay down the Mimi kind of all over, and it's beautiful, beautiful. I tend to really like, as I just talked about the bronze, I tend to really, really like glowy cheek products. These have a soft matte finish. And so, I mean, of course, I was like open to trying them out, but I thought for sure that I would still prefer, you know, like a shimmer to my blush. These blushes, despite their matte appearance, they have such a beautiful, soft, blurring, filtered appearance to them. Just, oh my God, just really, really beautiful. So I love the Coquette and Mimi. Other one I love is the Suede and Sable. Now this one is also a powder blush duo. So I like to put the deeper shade down first, which is Suede, and then brush a little bit of the Sable down. I think because both of these are, at least for my skin tone, like a little bit on the deeper side. I don't think it really matters. Of course, you know, play around with it, see what you like. Maybe you only like to use one of them at a time, but I like kind of adding a little bit of dimension just with like these related but different shades. And this Suede and Sable combo is gonna be so, so perfect going into the summer season because, oh, I'm just hoping that I get a little bit of a tan, and this is going to look really, really beautiful on top. But this gives me such a beautiful, like warm, healthy glow to my skin. And I love the formula. I think they blend out beautifully. They're not patchy for me at all. And I just love them. I love them. So those are the Westman Atelier powder blush duos. I have all 6 of them. The other 4 I like. It's just these 2 I think suit my complexion the best. I also really love the new Say Super Suede Radiant Blush powders. So my favorite shade is Mia, and this is a really beautiful rosy shimmery blush. This has such a beautiful gorgeous sheen to it, and I love this like baked formula. The powders go on really, really smoothly, really easily, and they're not, as you can see, they're not like overly pigmented, so I think you don't have to be overly careful when applying it, especially when it comes to blush. It can get very dangerous very quickly, but the formula is great. I love this shade Mia, and I just love the sheen and the finish that those blushes have. And this blush I feel like I can't shut up about, and I'm just kicking myself for not getting these earlier because these are not a new blush, just new to me. But these are the Chantecaille Sunstone Radiant Blushes, and I have the shade Energy, which is the more peachy toned one. I think there's another one, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a little bit more pinky. Oh my gosh, this blush just lights up your whole face. It is so beautiful, and it's one of those magical colors that's so bright and so vibrant, but when you put it on, it doesn't look, you know, it doesn't look garish. It doesn't look too like clown cheeks. It really has a nice brightness to it that's very, very natural at the same time. And it's gorgeous. It literally is like shining a light on your face. It just brings your entire complexion, your entire face like to life, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So that's the Chantecaille Sunstone Radiant Blush, and it is a baked gel powder. And I was reminded of the Patrick Ta Eye Duo, what's the full name? Major Dimension Eye Illusion Eyeshadow Duo. I have the shade Still at the Club. And I was reminded of this duo when I was doing my Sephora recommendations video, and I love, love, love this duo. It is absolutely stunning on the eyelids. This top shade is just the most gorgeous, smooth, wet-looking, shiny taupe color. And then this bottom shade is a great shade if you want to add just a little bit of dimension. It has a smokier appearance. There are little flecks of copper in there, so there's a little bit of warmth, versus this one that has like a cool tone to it. The duo is incredible. I love using this shade all alone. I love using both. With this one as like to add a little bit more drama. It is stunning. The formula is gorgeous. It is also a baked gel powder formula. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I'm wearing this eyeshadow duo in that video. So if you want to take a look at it modeled, definitely check out my Sephora recommendations video. Now, another one for Pkwy, another product that I should have tried earlier. This is their Silver Willow Eye Duet. Now, I got this at the same time I got the blush. And it's just, it's one of those eye duos that caught my eye, but I just never pulled the trigger, and I'm so glad that I did. So this is what I'm wearing today. I have the matte shade here on the outer corner and like in my socket line area, and then I have this shade just all over my lid. It's so pretty. And I feel like, they look very different in the pan, the colors, but the idea of the shades are very, very similar. And I feel like this is a little bit more every day, a little bit more like work appropriate. It's like a toned down version of the Patrick Ta. So if this one is maybe a little bit too like shiny and glittery and all of that for you, you may want to take a look at this one. It is definitely more of a cool toned duet, which I am loving. And I just love like eye duets. It just takes all the guesswork out of applying your eyeshadow. You don't have that many options. It's just easy to throw this on. It's just gorgeous. And the formula is wonderful. I feel like the matte shade blended out beautifully. The foil shade, as you can see, just applies gorgeously. So really beautiful eyeshadow duo. And this packaging is so beautiful. Look at that floral print just like etched onto the cover. I just love looking at it. I have it sitting out here on my vanity. It's so pretty. Okay, so those are the eyeshadows that I've been loving. Let me talk about this mascara. So I've been playing with the Pkwy Baddie Lash Mascara, and I'm like 99% sure that I love this mascara. I will tell you why I hesitate, why I hesitate in that. And it's that if there's too much product on the wand, it clumps. And I think you guys saw this when I tried this on for you guys. The first time I applied it, or on the eye that I applied the mascara first, it was a little clumpy. And then when I went over here and applied it, it was much smoother. And someone mentioned, maybe in my comments, someone mentioned, oh, maybe it's because it was a new tube. And I thought, oh, maybe it's a new tube. Yeah. So I tried it that way ever since. I'm like, no, it's so weird. It's just sort of like sometimes it clumps and sometimes it doesn't. And what I realized is if there's too much product, it's basically just like clumping onto itself. So I just have to make sure that I'm like really wiping off any kind of excess mascara there is from the wand. And then when I go in, it's great. It really elongates my lashes. It really coats each lash. It's pretty stupendous. And I think you guys saw that. Like, you could really see my lashes, really see my lashes. And I have really wimpy, puny, non-existent lashes. So I really appreciated that about Pkwy, but I'm pretty sure that that is the culprit, that it's just a matter of like having too much product on the wand and having to wipe it away. And once you do that, it's great. Okay, so those were all of my favorites from the past month. Let's just talk about the products that I have thoughts on. They're definitely not favorites, but they're not fails in any way. The first one is this Charlotte Tilbury Soulmates face palette, and I did get it in the Flawless Pink. So this is the heart-shaped palette. Everyone's referred to this as like the Sailor Moon packaging. This is so funny. So the reason why this is not a favorite, because I love, love, love this setting powder side. So we have a setting powder and we have a blush. Both have a soft matte finish. I really, really like the setting powder. It is really finely milled. It sets down underneath my eyes, does a great job like blurring and everything. It doesn't sink into my fine lines. It's really beautiful. I mean, I really do love Charlotte Tilbury powders. Gorgeous. This blush, it's just, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's not something, I don't know. It's just this very middle of the road pink. Now, there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's a very pretty pink. I don't know. There's nothing that's like pulling me towards using this palette except for the setting powder. And I would have recommended this during the Sephora VIB sale, but I just think it's silly if I only really like one side and I could care less about the other one to even recommend this whole palette. Now, if you love heart-shaped objects or you really find this packaging cute, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this palette. I mean, I think you'll really, really enjoy it. I just don't find anything special about the blush. The same goes for these YSL Make Me blushes. I tried it again. They came out with a newer shade. This is 06. And I thought, oh, that's a really pretty shade. Maybe that one will work a little bit better on me. it just doesn't work on me. It just doesn't work on me. It's patchy, just like the other two that I tried. Just not a favorite of mine. And once the Westman Atelier powder blush duos came into my life, I was like, oh yeah, absolutely not. These don't even come, in my book, they don't even come close. So those are okay, just not great. Same with the Tower 28 blushes. These are nice. They're nice. These are the Get Set Blur and Set Matte Powder Blush. So I tried 3 shades: the Malibu Cooler, the Samo Spritzer, which is a beautiful mauve, and the Long Beach Iced Tea, which is a really beautiful nude shade. I love the shades. The packaging is really cute. They're like color coded for the shade. They're just okay. And I felt like it took a little bit longer for them to blend out. And yeah, they kind of started out a little bit patchy. Like I would put my brush down and that's where all the product would end up, and I wouldn't be able to blend it out for quite some time. So they're okay. They're okay. They do eventually work, but it definitely took a little bit of elbow grease. And out of all of those mediocre blushes, the mediocre blush that I do love the most is the Rare Beauty Matte Bouncy Blush. So I have shades Happy, Hope, and then the third shade that I have is Alive, which is such a wonderful summertime shade. So these are like a cream to powder blush. So these are lovely. They have a matte finish, but it's a really beautiful soft matte finish. And these are very, very pigmented. I felt like I needed to be a little bit careful with them, a little bit careful. And the reason why these didn't end up in my favorites is, I don't know, I just felt like once I got the Westman Atelier, when I think about cream to powder blushes, I think about my Chanel ones. I'm just not really reaching for these. But they are really, really lovely. And like I said, out of all of the like mediocre blushes that I tried, this one is the best out of that bunch. Next is a product that I'm gonna talk about in a very similar way that I talked about the Chanel highlighter palette. I really, really like it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I just never reach for it. I don't really know why. I'm not sure I can articulate it, but this is the Charlotte Tilbury 9 Pan, the Beautifying Eye Trends in Super Neutral. I love the color story. For once, the Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows don't get warm on my eyelids, so they perform beautifully. There's a really nice array of mattes and shimmers. And I was even thinking about recommending this to you guys for the Sephora VIB sale, but I was like, I'm not reaching for it, and I don't know why. And I had left it out on my vanity for a while, and I was like, okay, I'll leave it there. I'll see if I use it. I just never used it. I kept reaching for, all of my other shadows, my Tom Ford cream shadows, my Chantecaille Duo, and I don't know. I apologize. I don't really have a really good reason for this not being in my favorites, except that I don't know. I don't feel like using it. I don't feel like using it, despite it being fine, absolutely fine. The formula is great. The color story is great. Everything is fine, but I don't know. Now, another product that kind of falls in this it's okay territory is this limited edition Christian Dior luminizer. This is in Coral Glow. So this is part of that Dior Riviera collection. I talked about the bronzer, my favorites. I thought I was gonna really love this product, okay? It is like everything I love. It's a baked gel powder formula. This color is gorgeous. There's a beautiful sheen to it, but this is meant to be a highlighter. So when I tried this on, because it has such a strong kind of peachy pink to it, I was like, I'm gonna try it as a blush. And so when I was sitting here and I put it on as a blush, I was like, oh, okay, very glowy, a very glowy blush. Probably not something I would normally do, but I was like, it's fine. Once I got into the sunlight, it looked like a glitter bomb. So as a highlight, I think it would be great, right? I don't mind like a little bit of sparkle that comes out in the daylight, but all over my cheek, not a good idea. I definitely don't recommend it. And I do think this is just too deep for my skin tone as just a straight up highlighter. So if you have a deeper skin tone, I feel like if you have like a medium, deep, like olive tone skin, this would look gorgeous. If you are pale like I am, I just don't know where this would work in your wardrobe, in your makeup wardrobe. Maybe like as a blush topper, like a little bit, but it is, you know, in the sunlight, it is quite glittery. So if you don't like that, you're not gonna like this. So anyway, because of that, because of like the tone of it and how it's kind of a deep highlighter, this is kind of a meh for me. Oh, there is one favorite that I forgot to talk about, probably because I have not shut up about it ever since I tried them out. So I won't linger too long, but the Prada eyeliners. I love them when I tried them on. I recommended them to you during the Sephora VIB sale. I may have even recommended them to you during the Nordstrom sale. Anyway, I have been loving, loving, loving the shade Ember. I also have Wood, Menta, and Argento. They're all just a lot of fun. It's the formula of these eyeliners that are so great because they are still movable and smudgeable, and you can do all the things with the eyeliner as soon as you apply it, but it doesn't transfer, it doesn't smudge. Like I can put it right onto my waterline and it just doesn't budge, yet I can actually move them. I don't know, it's pure magic. I love them, I recommend them, they're great. Now on that note of Prada, let's start talking about my fails. I don't like this mascara. I'm sorry, Prada. You guys know what a Prada fan I am. Not only of most of their makeup, but their fashion and everything. I just love them. This mascara, okay, let me actually start with the wand. Now the wand is very, very unique. Leave it to Prada. But they like carved out the actual wand and stuck the bristles in there so that it kind of looks like a little canoe. And because of that, I can't apply this mascara the way I normally apply mascara. I usually just take the wand and I just run it. I don't do anything fancy with it. I see people do like this whole turn with the wand. When you have really stubby lashes, there's no turning. There's nothing to pick up and turn and like work the mascara into, but that's how you have to use this wand. You have to like almost lay it in and then twist it for it to actually grab and like work the product onto the lashes. So for me, for someone with really short lashes, that the wand itself doesn't work for me. And then the formula, maybe because I can't get it on right, the formula just doesn't do much for my lashes. My lashes start to fall. They don't do anything for curl. So just overall, between the wand and the formula, this is just a big fail for me. But I know many of you like it. And I feel like if you have, even just a little bit longer than mine, the wand will probably work for you. And then you'll probably, they probably formulated mascara to work with a wand like that. So anyway, it just doesn't work for me. And my last fail are the new YSL Love Shine Plumping Lip Oil, something like that. So I tried on a shade or two. Did I get one or two? I think I only got one shade. I tried on a shade for you guys and I didn't like it. It got mintier and mintier on the mouth, and I returned it. Otherwise I would show it to you, but I already returned it, but I'll flash a picture of it up here. It got mintier and mintier, which is not my favorite. I can tolerate like a minty lip product as long as it starts to fade. But this got mintier and mintier, so not my thing. But then it was one of those like lip products that just sort of, it was like stringy. It was a little bit thick. I just didn't like the texture at all. That for me, it was just a big, big fat fail. And actually a lip product that I'm wearing that I should mention, this is probably more in, I don't know, it's growing on me. It's growing on me, which is why I'm kind of holding off on talking about it, but I'll just mention it. It's the lip oil that I got as part of the Dior Riviera collection. So I got Lemon Glow, and it's just it's an interesting shade because there's really no shade to it. There's like no pigment to it at all. But when I put it on, it has this really pretty sheen to it, and it's different from the other lip oils. It's probably why it's not completely clear. Like all of my other Dior lip oils have a clearness to them. They're tinted, but they're clear. This is not clear. Like it's pretty much opaque. Anyway, I feel like it leaves, it's not exactly milky, but it leaves this like satin finish to my lips. It's really, really pretty, but I want to continue using it because I want to make sure it's this product. Not like I have any other lip products on, but I just want to make sure because it's so strange. But I don't know, I just wanted to mention it. Anyway, those are the highlights from this past month. Like I said, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of stuff going on between the sales and the new releases and the seasonal changes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear like what you guys have been loving, especially because, like I said, I think the Sephora VIB sale ends tomorrow. So if there's anything I need to get, please let me know. Please let me know down below in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.